people in the field who do the measuring and do the installing. They're the ones who are the final line out there to the homeowner. Everything we do in the factory means nothing without the installer doing a good job, making sure their points and measurements are accurate. That's very important for us. When the installer does a good job for us, it makes us feel really happy. And we see that from our homeowners and the responses we get on letters we get from homeowners when they say, the cover looks beautiful and I can't imagine I didn't have this before. We want all the feedback we can get from the installers. That's the only way we can make improvements on our product. My door is open all the time. If you have a question or you need to talk to me, give me a call, ask for me, I'll pick up the phone. We're providing you with this installation video because you guys work hard. We want to make it as easy as possible for you and so you do it right and accurately the first time and you have happy customers out there. Let's go to the videotape.
Hi, I'm Tim Geffner from Merlin Industries. I want to show you and my friend Kit here how easy it is to measure and install a Merlin cover just like this one. You ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Let's go. Today we're here to measure this freeform pool for a Merlin cover. The tools we'll need are as follows. 2 stakes for A and B, a hammer to drive the stakes in, a cloth 100-foot tape, some chalk to mark the pool, a Merlin measuring form, and a camera to take a picture of the pool itself.
Tim, if I have a pool that has a raised wall, do I need any special equipment?
On a particular high raised beam, it may require that someone has to actually get into the pool to get the proper measurements.
Okay, Tim, how do we measure this pool?
Okay, what we need to do is establish 2 points, A and B, and this will be our measurement points for the measuring of the pool
What
itself.
do we need to do that?
Okay, we'll just need a common hammer and 2 stakes.
Where do we put the stakes?
Okay, the stakes are approximately going to be 5 feet away from the pool itself, a sufficient distance away, and no shorter than 3 feet.
All right, we've got about 6 feet here. That's enough?
That's plenty.
All right.
Okay, all we need to do, drive the stake into the ground.
All right, where do we put B? This pool's about 30 feet. How far down do we go?
Well, approximately from this A stake, we are to be 2/3 the length of the pool itself for our B stake.
Okay, great. What do I need to remember when I do the A-B stake? Are there any tips?
A couple common tips are we never want this AB line to intersect with the pool itself, even if you extended these 2 lines out 2 different directions. Nor do we want any obstacles in the way from A to B. There could be planters, there could be rocks, there could be multiple furniture or something like that.
Great, I think I got that.
Remember, the stakes must be placed so that if a line connected these 2 stakes and extended infinitely beyond both ends, that line must never be within 3 feet of the pool water's edge at any point. Now standing between these 2 stakes and facing the pool, the stake on the left is considered stake A, and the stake on the right is considered stake B.
Tim, now that we have our A-B line, what's the next step?
We need to mark the pool's perimeter for our A-B points.
Where do we put our first mark?
Okay, we suggest that our first mark should be directly in front of stake A and also at pool water's edge. And number these as you go. We've established point number 1.
Where does point number 2 go?
Point number 2 goes in a clockwise motion around the pool. So point number 2 will be to the left of point number 1. In this case, approximately 2 feet away. Also, number the points as you go.
Does it matter how far apart the points are?
In some cases, yes. General rule of thumb, the tighter the curve or radius, the more marks you make. We need a point here at water's edge to the start of the curve and number it. We need one in the middle, number it also, and at the end of the curve also, number that. Remember to follow this procedure anytime you have a tight corner on your pool. Okay, Kit, using the measuring guidelines that we've established, why don't you continue measuring the pool?
All right, I've got a corner here that's an inside corner. Do I measure it the same way?
You would treat it the same way.
So I'm going to put 3 marks.
Sure enough.
And 1 mark in the middle here?
That's perfect.
And 3 more marks around this corner?
Yes.
And I number each mark?
That's correct. Consecutively, in a clockwise motion around the pool. Perfect. Now you can spread out your marks to 2 or 3 foot increments, Kit.
So these marks are about 2 feet apart.
That's correct.
69, 70, 71, 72. My first point is right here, is that it?
That's it. You're finished with the pool.
What do I do if there's an obstacle at the edge of the pool?
Good question, Kit. Why don't you come around the pool and I'll give you some examples. Here are some examples of some non-removable objects that you may encounter going around the pool. Handrail, a spout, and a rock. For the handrail, we need to measure these just like you would the pool, so they need A-B points. So Kit ended up on point number 72. On the measuring form in the special obstacle area, we need to isolate, let's say for this handrail, point 73 would be right here on the front of this particular rail. Point 74 would be on the front of the back rail. For the fill spout, also non-removable within 2 feet of pool water's edge, we need, let's say, point number 75 on the front of the fill spout. A rock is a little bit different. We need to know the stop, the continuance, and the end of where this rock would stop. Let's say point number 76 for the start of the rock. Point number 77. Point number 78. Point number 79. This isolates where this rock is located at the pool site through the A-B measurements. Kid, I brought this coping stone to the pool side to show you an example of what you may encounter out at the pool sites themselves.
Well, what do I do if I find a pool that's got a coping with a stone like this?
Okay, due to this sharp edge, much like your Tennessee crabapples, your flagstones, or even brick coping, it is necessary, and Merlin recommends that perimeter padding be mounted onto the cover.
So I need to mark on my measuring form whether I have a coping with a sharp edge like this?
Exactly. And in addition to the coping stones, perimeter padding is also suggested for windy areas.
Great.
Kit, what we need to do is take our measurements between point A and point B. While the tape is pulled taut between the two, it's a good time to make sure that the tape isn't within 3 feet of the pool itself and free of any poolside obstacles. We're pulled taut. Our measurement between A and B is 27 feet, 1 inch. If you would, take the tape off of stake B and join me down here at stake A. 2 helpful hints to make sure during this whole measuring process, make sure the tape is pulled taut between each and every measurement as you go around the pool, and you can measure to the nearest ½ inch.
All right, great. What do we do now?
Okay, the tape can go right on stake A. And we're going to start at point 1 and proceed clockwise around the pool, going to 2, 3, 4, and so on.
Okay.
A1, that would be 5 feet, 1/2 inch. Point 2, 6 foot even. Point 3, 7 foot, 8.5 inches. And it's very critical that you do measure to the nearest ½ inch. Point 4, 8 foot, 3 inches. Okay, Kit, now that we've measured around the total perimeter of the pool from point A, we now have to go to our non-removable obstacles that are within the 2 feet from pool water surface. For the handrail, number 73, 26 feet, 10.5 inches. Point 74, 27 feet, 3.5 inches. Let's go to our fill spout. This is point number 75. 26 feet, 11.5 inches. Okay, let's go to our rock. We've got 4 points here, starting with 76. That would be, for 76, 27 feet, 9 inches. Point 77, 26 feet, 10 inches. Point 78, 27 feet, 1 inch. Point 79, 28 feet, 2 inches. Okay, Kit, we've now completed all the measurements from point A. Please move the tape over to point B, and we'll take the measurements around the pool and to our obstacles from point B. It's extremely important to add a detailed sketch of the pool shape and how it relates to the AB points that are around your pool. Included on the detailed drawing include some reference points of those numbers that we measured before and how they relate maybe to a swim out, a spa, or any obstacles that may be around the pool's perimeter. To complete our measuring form, you must measure the longest length and the widest width of the pool, indicating the marked points as references. I see you're equipped with a camera. Why don't you take a snapshot of the pool so we can send that in with our measurement form. Please take time to perform all the measurements correctly. Merlin's computer design system will be creating a customized pool cover based on your specifications, so it's important that all measurements be accurate. Remember to take the measurements from both the A stake and the B stake. Remember to measure the distance between stakes A and B. Leave both stakes in the ground until you are certain all measurements have been taken. And always remember to wash away the chalk marks and clean up after yourself. If you have any questions, refer to your Merlin measurement booklet. Review this videotape again or call Merlin and speak to a design consultant. Okay, Kit, our cover has arrived. Before we actually left the shop, I wanted to check the contents of the box with the packing list that was included. I wanted to make sure, obviously, the cover was here. Storage bags, springs, brass anchors, warranty registration form, installation instructions, and the installation tools itself.
Great. Well, now that we've got all this, can you go over the equipment that we're going to need to do the installation?
Sure can. Okay, how about some 5-gallon buckets for anchoring the cover in place until we actually get it installed officially. Some heavy-duty extension cords, a rotary impact drill with a 3/4-inch spline bit, hammer, chalk line, measuring tape, and some chalk.
All right, I see you've got some other equipment laid out here. Can you go over that with me?
Okay, what's standard and comes with the cover, the Allen wrench, the installation tool itself, standard springs, buckles, and the common concrete anchor.
What's this one for?
Okay, in the event that you're running a little short on deck, you don't have that much deck going around the perimeter of the pool, a shorter spring can be requested in those cases.
Great.
In the event you have a raised beam situation, the various things that will come with the cover that you'll be asking for and saying that we have a raised beam would be turnbuckles, cable, some eyelets for the raised beam itself, some D-rings, and some cable hooks.
What's this black thing?
What that is a spring guard. That prevents some spring wear on the decking itself.
Great.
Okay.
This is a strange looking anchor.
Sure enough, that's a wood deck anchor kit, and that also comes in brass.
How about this brass ring?
We also have an anchor flange, and once that's installed, it would look similar to this.
All right, what about these things here?
These basically are two different types of anchoring systems for loose material. Let's say planters, a brick paver installation on sand or something to that effect. These can be pounded right into the ground themselves, okay? And this aluminum tube, this fits our brass anchor, fits right in, okay?
Great.
Let's get started. The cover's folded lengthwise at the factory, so let's unfold the cover along the pool's length.
Great.
All right. Kit, the cover's fan folded. Let's keep it taut as we pull it across the pool. We now want to make sure that the cover has even overlap around the pool. The cover comes equipped with these reinforcement panels. These panels are positioned on the cover to protect the cover from these high-stress corners, much like this one on the swim out.
So I need to make sure these pads are placed over this corner like this.
That's correct, Kit. Let's pull our cover back and mount it with our last bucket. Never position the bucket on the cover itself. Always place the bucket on the reinforcing straps.
I placed an anchor and a spring by each of the straps on the cover. Now how do I get the spring onto the strap?
Good question, Kit. All the buckles come pre-installed on the strap itself. I always make sure that the buckle is positioned 4 to 5 inches from the cover itself before I start mounting the spring. Take the end of the strap, run it through the square end of the spring. Run the end of the strap back through the middle of the buckle. At this point, I just make sure that I have an equal overlap. Throw the end of the strap through the buckle, pull taut. There's 2 reasons for this particular setup. Maximum adjustability, and it gives a good uniform look around the pool.
Well, I guess we're ready to start drilling.
Well, we've done everything right so far, Kit. The cover is even overlap, the lines are straight, everything's going to fall into place.
How do I know what strap to start with?
We're going to start with the straps on the longest length of the pool. We're going to start with these 2 and anchor the 2 directly across.
Well, then where do we go from there?
We then anchor the 2 center line straps of the widest width of the pool.
Well, why do we keep going from side to side?
It keeps the tension even.
Tim, can you go over this drill with me again?
Sure can, Kit. This is a heavy-duty rotary hammer drill. Attached to the drill is a 3/4 inch carbide tip bit. The size and weight of this hammer drill will assure us of a good, clean, straight hole.
All right.
Okay, we're now ready to mark our first spot for drilling. I like to pull the cover up out of the water and pull it all taut. I take our Merlin anchor and measure it about 3 inches beyond the end of the spring. This will be about 20 inches from the cover itself, and as you can see, we're right on the money. Okay, Kit, we've now confirmed our location for our first drill hole. Remove the brass anchor, put the drill in its place. Before I start, I fully support the drill between my legs. I also take a quick glance to make sure I'm going in the decking on a good straight line. I'm going to be drilling in a good 3 inches into the decking. Now that we've drilled the hole, it's a good idea to clean up after yourself and brush off the powder from the hole. Unscrew the anchor approximately 1/2 inch. This will enable you to not only hammer the anchor in, but also give you a good height to mount your spring.
Tim, I see we have a straight edge along this freeform pool. Shouldn't we snap a chalk line?
That's true, Kit. On all straight edges, and most definitely Grecians and rectangles, a chalk line should be snapped. I've already taken 2 anchors and placed them 20 inches from the cover's edge. Let's use these as guides and snap a chalk line, if you would assist me. Pull taut, snap. Good, Kit. Now we'll use the chalk line to set up the anchors. The chalk line will set up a nice straight edge.
With the tension on this strap, how do I get the spring on the anchor?
Merlin supplies you with an installation tool. Simply slide the tool through the spring and the notched end of the bottom of the tool to the rear of the anchor. Pull back on the tool and step on the spring all in one action. That puts that anchor right in. This also shows that the spring is 50% compressed. That's how you want it around the pool's perimeter. To remove the spring, simply reverse the process. Put the tool over the anchor, twist and turn, and pull towards the pool. The spring will come right off. On this particular strap, we have a unique situation. If I were to drill here, that's too close to the deck's edge. What we can do in this case is shorten the strap. This now brings the anchor a sufficient distance away from the deck's edge. In the event that the strap could not be adjusted any further, a shorter spring by Merlin can be supplied. For the installation of this particular strap, the anchor would fall right on the expansion joint of the decking. We can't shorten, we can't lengthen. It would still be too close to the expansion joint. We have a couple options. We can move to the right, we can move to the left. In this particular case, we've got an anchor already installed with a spring on it right where we need it. Let's double up. When the cover is removed, Merlin has designed the anchor so it can be screwed flush with the decking. For all you installers, you can cut a few inches off your Allen key, put it into your cordless drill, and this will speed up the process considerably. And another tip, always carry extra hardware with you on a job. Great job, Kit.
It was easy. Is it just as simple for the Merlin solid cover?
Exactly the same. One thing you're going to have to remember next spring, the straps may need some adjustment due to the webbing stretching a little bit during its first season.
No problem. What about when I winterize this pool?
Don't drop the water level any lower than 18 inches below the coping. And also, you may want to double up on your pool chemicals. And if it's a late opening, you may want to retreat in the spring before the pool's open. If you have any questions for measuring or installation, give me a call at Merlin Industries. I'm Tim Gethner. Thanks for being with us.